Hi guys, we're going to go through our fraction notebook that we created the other day. This is page 13 where it's just adding and subtracting fractions. So all of these fractions have common denominators, so we don't have to find a common denominator. Both of the denominators are 8. You're just going to add the numerator, 3 plus 2. That gives us 5. And our denominator is already 8. So we're just going to shade in 5 out of the 8. Pretty simple, right? Same thing for this one. Our denominators are both 6. We're going to subtract. So we're just going to take 4, 6, minus 3, 6. 4 minus 3 gives us 1. Our denominator is already 6. So these are pretty simple. But then we're going to turn to page 14. Same thing. We already have our common denominators. So the 8 stays the same. We're just going to add our numerator. 5 plus 2 gives us 7. So we have 7/8. Same thing here. Denominator's the same. So we have 6. 4 plus 1 gives us 5. So we have 5/6. Here, denominators are 8. We keep the same denominator because they're the same. We subtract 3 minus 1 and we get 2/8. Notice how I'm shading all of these fractions. And then the very last one, the denominator is 6. They're both 6. So I subtract 5 minus 4 and I get 1. So that's page 14. We're going to turn back in our fraction notebook and take a look at page 12. This is where we have denominators that are not the same. So we have to find a common denominator. So the first one we have 4 and 3. So I think in my head, our common denominator, multiples of both of them, would be 12. So then I have to think 4 times 3 gives me 12. So I do the same thing to the numerator, which is 3 times 3, which gives me 9. 3 times 4 gives me 12. So I do the same thing to the numerator. 1 times 4 gives me 4. Now I can add. 9 plus 4 gives me 13 twelfths. Now it says to write in the simplest form, or mixed number. A mixed number is where you have a whole number and a fraction. So the way I think of it, my denominator is 12. So 12 out of 12 would give me 1 whole. Well, I have 13 twelfths. So if I subtract 12 from 13, I get 1 whole, which is 12 out of 12. And then 13 minus 12 gives me 1 12th left over. So all I did is 12 over 12 is the whole thing, which is right here. What do I have left if I take 12 out of 12 left, which is 13 minus 12? I have 1 left. I go to the next one. I look at 5 and 10. Those denominators are different. I find a common denominator, which is 10. Well, if I look at 3/10, that already has 10 as the denominator, so that can stay the same. I can multiply 5 times 2 to get to 10, so I do the same thing to the numerator. 4 times 2 gives me 8. Now I can add. 8 plus 3 gives me 11/10. Remember, 10 out of 10 is the whole thing, so if I subtract 10 from 11, I get 1 whole. And then 11 minus 10 leaves me with 1 left over out of 10. Same thing with the next one. Common denominator here would be 6. So this guy gets to stay the same. If I multiply 3 times 2, I get 6. So 2 times 2 gives me 4. 5 plus 4 gives me 9/6. 6 out of 6 would be the whole thing. If I subtract 6 out of 6, I get 1 whole. 9 minus 6 leaves me with 3/6. I can probably reduce that even further. So if I have 1 and 3/6, I can reduce 3/6 further because I can divide both of these by 3. 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. So my simplest form here would be 1 and 1/2. The next one, my common denominator is 6, so this guy stays the same. I multiply 3 times 2 to get 6. 1 times 2 gives me 2. 5 minus 2 is going to give me 3/6. I can simplify that because both of these can be divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Last one, I'm going to look for a common denominator. The lowest common denominator for both of these is 12.